taking the oath before Congress again.
Do you swear or
Michael Cohen insisting this time he's telling the truth.
I have come here to apologize to my family, to my government, and to the American people.
Now, the president's former personal attorney unloading stunning personal shots against his former client.
I am ashamed that I chose to take part in concealing Mr. Trump's illicit acts rather than listening to my own conscience. I am ashamed because I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat.
Cohen's dramatic array of allegations against the president included accusing him of committing a criminal act, directing Cohen to make hush money payments to Stormy Daniels.
Mr. Trump directed me to use my own personal funds from a home equity line of credit to avoid any money being traced back to him that could negatively impact his campaign.
The president initially saying he knew nothing about the payments.
Do you know where he got the money to make that payment?
No, I don't know.
But Cohen today bringing this $35,000 check, he says signed by the president, saying it was a reimbursement. Cohen says Mr. Trump worried about Daniels' accusations after the Access Hollywood tape. And Cohen says the president asked him to lie to Melania Trump about the whole thing.
Lying to the First Lady is one of my biggest regrets because she is a kind, good person, and I respect her greatly, and she did not deserve that.
Another charge, Cohen said without offering proof that candidate Trump was told about embarrassing hacked Democratic emails before they were dumped by WikiLeaks and founder Julian Assange, insisting he was in the room when Roger Stone, now facing multiple felony charges himself, called the candidate.
Mr. Stone told Mr. Trump that he had just gotten off the phone with Julian Assange, and that Mr. Assange told Mr. Stone that within a couple of days, there would be a massive dump of emails that would damage Hillary Clinton's campaign. Mr. Trump responded by stating to the effect, "Wouldn't that be great?"
An alleged conversation just before this comment from then candidate Trump.
Russia, if you're listening.
WikiLeaks responding today, writing Assange has never had a telephone call with Roger Stone. Then there was that potential Trump Tower real estate deal in Moscow. Cohen saying he believed Mr. Trump wanted him to lie about the fact that negotiations stretched well into the campaign, something Cohen lied to Congress about initially.
Mr. Trump did not directly tell me to lie to Congress. That's not how he operates. He would look me in the eye and tell me there's no Russian business, and then go on to lie to the American people by saying the same thing. In his way, he was telling me to lie.
Cohen says he had no knowledge of any collusion with Russia.
Questions have been raised about whether I know of direct evidence that Mr. Trump or his campaign colluded with Russia. I do not.
But says he has his suspicions that Donald Trump Jr. told his father about that Trump Tower meeting between campaign officials and a Russian attorney.
And I recall Don Jr. leaning over to his father and speaking in a low voice, which I could clearly hear, and saying, "The meeting is all set."
Republicans blasting Cohen's accusations.
Mr. Assange reported to the media on June 12th that those emails would be leaked. So I'm not saying you have fake news, I'm saying you have old news.
And attacking Cohen's credibility. Cohen is about to serve prison time after pleading guilty to tax and financial crimes, as well as lying to Congress.
We have someone testifying here who has already been convicted of lying to Congress. So congratulations for being the first in Congress to do that, and Mr. Cummings as well. I can't believe we have brought this committee to its knees in terms of losing its credibility.
The Democrats don't care. They don't care. They just want to use you, Mr. Cohen. You're their patsy today. They got to find somebody, somewhere, to say something so they can try to remove the president from office.
At times, tensions boiled over.
Shame on you, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chair,
not what I said. Shame on you.
From half a world away, President Trump tweeted about Cohen, saying he was just disbarred by the state Supreme Court for lying and fraud. Many of Cohen's attacks on the president were intensely personal.
Since taking office, he has become the worst version of himself. He is capable of behaving kindly, but he is not kind. He is capable of committing acts of generosity, but he is not generous. He is capable of being loyal, but he is fundamentally disloyal.
Cohen pulling back the curtain on what he said his former boss asked him to do, including writing this threatening letter to Fordham University.
I'm talking about a man who declares himself brilliant, but directed me to threaten his high school, his colleges, and the college board to never release his grades or SAT scores.
And Cohen calling Mr. Trump a racist.
And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago, he commented that only black people could live that way. And he told me that black people would never vote for him because they were too stupid.
That prompting Republicans to bring up Lynn Patton, an African-American former staffer at the Trump Organization.
She says that as a daughter of a man born in Birmingham, Alabama, that there is no way that she would work for an individual who was racist.
Cohen pressed on whether the president would threaten people.
No, he would use others.
How many times did Mr. Trump ask you to threaten an individual or entity on his behalf?
Quite a few times.
50 times?
More.
100 times?
More.
200 times?
More.
500 times?
Probably over the 10 years.
And tonight, Cohen hinting there could be more to come.
Is there any other wrongdoing or illegal act that you are aware of regarding Donald Trump that we haven't yet discussed today?
Yes, and again, those are part of the investigation that's currently being looked at by the Southern District of New York.
The hearing ending on this emotional plea.
And hopefully, this portion of your destiny will lead to a better Michael Cohen, a better Donald Trump, a better United States of America, and a better world.
Republicans say this is all about sour grapes because Cohen didn't get a job at the White House, something first cited by federal prosecutors. In his testimony today, Cohen called that inaccurate.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.